He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. All the good names are taken podcast, and we're back once again, Blake, for another Friday the 13th review. You guys wanted it. You asked for it, and now we're up to Friday the 13th, part 5, A New Beginning. How are we having a new movie after we just split Jason's head open in the last one? And here we are, a couple of weeks later than we should have been, but such is life, okay? Deal with it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. A lot of thoughts on this movie, Blake. A lot of the.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
A lot of the better review channels will talk about the porno director that they let take over for this movie, but those are the same channels that fixate on the 25-minute sex scene that had no business being in the movie, and they fixate on the ugly chick that's naked in the woods like she's something better than what she really is. This movie's all about one thing: Reggie the Reckless. And that's great. But I'm going to throw this out here, Blake, and I know you're going to disagree because we talked about it before the show. At the end of this movie, if they knock this Jason off the barn, he lands on, for whatever reason, that bed of nails that's down there. The mask comes off, and it's Jason Voorhees, just another ugly face. Do people give this movie a pass and say it's a good Friday the 13th movie? Because what I notice is people give this movie crap just because it's Roy. It's a copycat killer. And from what I noticed watching this movie is they spend the entire movie letting you know it's not Jason Voorhees. So answer my original question. If it's Jason at the end of this movie, with all these kills that we've seen, do they talk about this movie like it's part 4, part 3, or part 2?
Well, I don't think they have it in that same category, but it's definitely going to be lumped in there with the others, Ronnie. It's going to be considered just as good as, 7, 8, or 9 or whatever. But yeah, it would get a pass, but it doesn't just because you got the copycat killer. And let me go ahead and tell you, I've really enjoyed these first 4 that we've watched. I've noticed new things. I've developed new opinions. I've developed a new ranking.
There you go.
I've always liked part 5. I have. I thought the little blue checks on the mask were cool. I thought these characters were great, blah, 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 blah. On this rewatch, Ronnie, I didn't have a good time. I did not have a good time. And God, is it obvious that Roy's the killer? How many times do we show Roy when something bad happens, or we let Roy in the background have a line? You talking to me, Sheriff? I thought you was talking to me. I mean,
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Like, okay, hey, he's the killer. There's the killer. He's always here.
You don't think it gave it away for everybody in the movie theater whenever he stares at the camera, like Michael Myers closing the trunk in Halloween 2018 for 30 seconds while they play that ominous music? The Jason kills aren't bad. And I don't even know what I have in my good, bad, and ugly. It's been so long since I wrote it. The Jason kills aren't bad. I mean, it's just like any other Friday the 13th movie. It's just the motive. He kills everybody at this Pinehurst rehabilitation clinic. He kills everybody but the person that killed Fat Joey.
Yeah, he kills everyone except for the one person who's responsible.
Yeah, I think this movie does get a lot of hate, Blake. I thought after we watched the first 4, I've got another question for you, by the way, Blake. You take the Crispin Glover dance scene out of Friday the 13th Part 4, and do people talk about any of the characters, having likability in that movie? Because when they name off the characters besides, Corey Feldman and the Jarvises, they talk about everybody next door that, all those great teen characters. But if Crispin Glover doesn't do that dance, is there anything distinguishable between any of those characters in that house?
No, they're all shit sandwich.
Exactly. This movie, I think, has better characters. I mean, there's stupid characters. They're big characters. I think they're better characters because they're from movies that I love, like Miguel Nunez Jr. as Demon and the Crapper, or Vic as Suicide in Return of the Living Dead. I got an attachment to them. I got an attachment to Ethel and Junior because they were. I like all of that. But anyway, Blake, I got a couple of questions before we get into it. How long has this Pinehurst rehabilitation clinic been open, and what do you have to do to get in there?
Well, Joey's been there a while, so I'm going to say 5 to 10 years. And what do you got to do to get in there? You just got to be a troubled youth, getting suspended at school, getting sent to alternative school.
Alternative school? What are you talking about? I just called it. The reason I asked Blake is because the sexy sheriff, he comes up and he's like, Matt, we all like what you're doing here. We all know what you're trying to do here, but you also know there's a lot of people that don't like you being here, implying sort of like what the cop said to Paul in part 2, that this might be a new place. That's the only reason I asked that. And I mean, Tommy gets there and like everybody just starts killing each other. He's got like the bad juju on him.
Yeah, I mean, they ripped that off from Friday 13th Part 2, and they ripped the idea of the original Friday 13th. You got a kid who gets killed and a angry parent who takes revenge, except this time it's the father and not the mother. So, yeah.
Do you think Roy's grand plan was that they would blame all of this on Tommy Jarvis since his family was terrorized by Jason Voorhees, and they'll say that he took the persona of Jason Voorhees to kill everybody at the camp? Do you think that was the grand plan here, or was he just killing them to kill them?
I don't think there was a plan. I think he was going to kill everybody, and that was going to be it.
Why are all paramedics psychos and perverts in the Friday the 13th universe?
I don't know, but there's a line from the guy in the beginning who ends up getting killed trying to screw Lana. So first off, this is 5 years later. So Tommy's 17 years old, played by a new actor.
Yeah. Edit. Got him. I just popped him. Look at him. He can't talk.
They're driving Tommy to this new place, and
edit.
They pull up. He gets out and he goes, "All right, we're here. Go on. Come on, man. All right, sit there. I don't give a line of the movie. I've never noticed it before, but it's the line of the movie. He looks at him dead in the eyes and goes, "All right, sit there. I don't give a."
He does something with his ear and his tongue. What a pervert. He's looking at a porno mag in the front seat. I mean, just a total scuzz. I mean, it makes me never, ever want to get picked up by a paramedic the way they're portrayed in this franchise. Blake, let's get to the good. I'll start it off. The opening of this movie is great because it feels like it picks up right shortly after part 4 ended. You've got Corey Feldman back for a cameo. It's in the woods. He's wearing a slicker. It's storming. These two hillbillies wander up and they decide they're going to dig up Jason. Jason's got a grave like you would expect him to have right out in the middle of the woods. It's still got fresh dirt on it, which means he just got planted. These guys dig him up. He's been buried with his mask on and with a knife. A cool scene of the worms coming out of the eye hole. He kills the two guys. Tommy's watching from the bushes as Jason, and this had to be in the teaser, Blake. Jason comes out. He sits up from this coffin that's only buried like a foot deep. He sits up. He stands up with this music. This score is really good in this movie. He walks up, and he's drawing back the machete towards Tommy as we go fade to black, and then Tommy wakes up in the back of the van, and we see that it is in fact years later, years since part 4 has taken place. You said it's 5 years, so this guy's supposed to be 17 and he looks 37. But I think that was a great opening. It showed you how much, even though I don't like him, that Corey Feldman could have brought to this movie. And you got to think, if he came back for the sequel, would it have been a different story? Because he couldn't have played a kid 5 years older.
Yeah, I think it would have been a story. That's actually one of my goods too, Ronnie. I really like the opening dream sequence. Obviously, we all know, or all horror fans, Corey Feldman couldn't do the movie because he was doing Goonies. He filmed this in his backyard, and I thought it was really well done. And I love that they used the right Jason mask they used the right Jason mask for all the dream sequences. And I really like that. And that should be a dead give. What's that?
So Michael Jackson got in his back door. Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I got you.
Edit.
But yeah, I agree. That opening scene, I mean, because to me, that's realistic. Probably people watching this channel would go to Jason Voorhees' grave and dig it up. And
Darren.
Yeah, I mean, And I thought that would have been a great. And then boom, we fade to Tommy waking up, and he, like you said, he's 38 years old, going to a teen camp. We do get the naked gunshot, Ronnie. After Joey dies, we get the naked gunshot with the camera on top of the cop car with the sirens rolling up.
We do. Only you would bring up the naked gunshot police squad at the very beginning of it.
That's all I thought about when I saw it. I was like, it's naked gunshot. Who stole from who? Who made who?
That is actually one of my goods, is Tommy's vision of Jason. All throughout the movie, Tommy's having these visions, sort of like Jamie Lee Curtis in H2O, where he's seeing Jason everywhere. And you're absolutely right. Jason has the proper mask on in those visions, and he's holding an axe, which is awesome, by the way, because I don't know how many times in the franchise past this that he uses an axe. I think one time with the blonde girl from part 7, but it looks so menacing and so scary every time he sees it. And they're setting up for Tommy to be the red herring, or either to be the killer. And like, he's sweating the whole movie. He's got like 8 lines of dialogue throughout the movie. He's got a great FU John Cena style that he uses on the other in the camp, and hard edit. And he beats up Junior. He's got a lot of violence in him. They're trying to put it out there that he's the killer, and he's not.
Yeah. I mean, after every single kill in the first 30 minutes, the camera does the white fade and it goes straight to Tommy.
Yeah.
And he's either looking in a mirror, taking pills, or freaking out. So yeah, they do that. Even though I said it was obvious Roy's the killer, they do put that in the back of your mind. Hey, after every time we show a kill, we're showing Tommy. And I make a big deal in these first 4 movies about, I love the fact that they don't establish who the main character is right away.
I was going to say that.
Well, in this one, you get the idea, okay, we get a dream sequence with young Tommy. It wakes up, now he's teenage Tommy. But after that first scene of him arriving at camp, it's not really about Tommy.
He's gone.
And it's not really about Matt. It's not really about the blonde. It's not really about Reggie. I don't feel like this movie does a good job of attaching me to any character, not even one character. I don't care about
the only,
and I don't care about Tommy because of how they did, because they don't give him any lines and they don't give him any kind of arc
or
personality or line. I mean, I don't know. Like in the other ones, I know you mentioned them earlier, but I do kind of care about Jimbo and a couple of those people. In part 3, I do care about Chris, and I do care about Shelly and Chili. In part 2, I do care about Paul and Jenny and Wheelchair. And part 1.
Hey, bro, I'm in a chair.
In part 1, I do care about those people. I do. And this one, it's like, we're going to show you a character and we're going to kill him. And then we're going to show you these 2 greasers in the woods who are having car trouble, and we're going to kill them. We're going to show you this the diner. We're going to kill her. We're going to show you this person over here, and we're going to kill him. We're going to let this girl with the 2 watermelons on her chest out in the woods. We're going to show you her real quick. We're going to show you her. Then we're going to kill her.
I can't argue with you. They don't. The only people you get attached to in this movie are my next good, which are Ethel and Junior, because they're the only ones trying to clean up the in the woods, whether it be the chicken behind the coops or the piece
about time, fuckwad,
or the piece there at the loony bin. All right, all they're trying to do is live on their land a bit and be nasty. But Ethel and Junior, in all seriousness, are really memorable characters in the Friday the 13th franchise. A lot of people seem to think that they're too comedic. I think the Friday the 13th franchise is built off comedic secondary characters. Ethel's really good, and she gets a proper death for a character like that. Just like Junior. Junior's super annoying, slow throughout the whole movie, and he gets the perfect death. These 2 get the perfect death for their characters. He's screaming like a wild man and gets his head cut off. She takes a meat cleaver to the forehead and falls into her stew. Eat your stew. So I love these characters. Don't mess with me, Sheriff. I got a bomb on me.
Hey,
she calls her son a in front of everybody. He doesn't just shut the F up like my dad would have done me. So, I mean, got a lot of heart for these characters. I mean, whoever wrote these should have won an Oscar.
You don't set a table for a dead guy.
I don't think Victor and Joey would be joining us today, Violet.
There still wasn't enough seats at the effing table if everybody were. I mean, it still wouldn't have added up, especially when Matt's ass came in there and sat down and started fixing the plate.
Hey, fun fact, you know where I recognize Matt from? He is the guy that gives Indiana Jones his hat in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. When Indiana Jones is young Indiana Jones, a.k.a. River Phoenix, at the beginning of the third movie, he's the guy that's stealing the artifact that Indiana Jones steals from. And at the end of it, he tells, before they roll the credits, he's like, kid, you lost today, but you don't have to like it. And he puts his hat on him. So Matt, in turn, from Friday the 13th, Part 5, gave Indiana Jones his hat.
Well, going back to Matt, Matt is kind of the only character we semi get to know, and he disappears halfway through the movie. And I get it. He's supposed to be a red herring. Is he the killer? But we don't even get to see him die. He just pops up as a dead body. Wasted.
My next good, Blake, you're going to laugh at me. Roy. Roy's good. I mean, once you go back, once you've seen this movie and you get pissed off because Jason's not the killer, even though you got multiple kills with a guy in a hockey mask that would have happened in any other movie, once you figure out it's Joey's dad that was killing everybody, then you get to see them setting the stage for how this was always Roy, and we should have known it was always Roy. The stare at the camera that me and you talked about earlier. Did you say something, Sheriff? The mayor going, Jason Voorhees was cremated. Here's your damn killer right here, dumping the ashtray out. So they did everything in this movie to let you know that Roy is the killer. Why would they spend so much time on these multiple shots of a random ambulance driver if it wasn't Roy doing the killing? And just the fact, that he killed everybody at that place. He totally bought into it. If they were around that, there's no reason why he killed the greasers. Are we supposed to believe he's just wandering the woods like Jason with his prosthetic bald cap on the whole time? That's kind of crazy too, by the way. He kills people at a diner. Or did he follow the guy that was the orderly around to do that? Because they didn't have anything to do with Joey.
Well, I mean, another giveaway that I never noticed is that you see that the little ambulance on the side of the road. I think Pam finds it, and Roy's partner's inside dead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you watch it, I've never said it before, but you're got to be like, hey, where's that other paramedic at? It's just one of them. Yeah, he's the killer.
Me and you for the longest time said when he fell off that barn that it looked like Matt. It looks like Matt when the thing come off, and it does look like Matt. I mean, the first time you see it, would this been a better movie, Blake, if Matt was the killer? If Matt had something in his background where, a troubled teen had killed his wife or something like that, so he started this clinic just so he could kill as many troubled teens as he wanted, or maybe Joey was Matt's kid. And, something like that. And it's still the same situation. Joey gets hacked up and Matt's the dad. And he'd been there with his son the whole time trying to make life better for him, even though the kid didn't know he was his dad.
I mean, would it have made it better? I don't know, Ronnie. The only thing I wish that we could change or rewrite is I wish they would say early on in the beginning, Victor's missing.
Yes.
Now, whether they're alluding to him escaping, obviously he would show up dead at the end. But I wish they would have established early on, hey, Victor's missing. We got him back to the station and he's gone.
I mean, I agree with that. I think there should have been some mention that he escaped custody. That way we think he's out there in the woods, and he never got his comeuppance either. He's the only one that lives. I mean, he got away. My last good, Blake. Reggie the Reckless. I mean, if you're looking for a hero in this movie, a hero can save us.
Hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
It's Reggie the Reckless. His grandfather gets killed. His brother gets killed. He saves everybody. Tommy freezes in the face of Jason Voorhees.
Don't.
He gets his chest hacked open. I mean, he was going to die. Reggie the Reckless runs over Roy / Jason with a tractor. Not only did he run over him, he run through the side of the damn wall of the barn, or with the tractor. It's got to be hilarious. What if he'd have ran into the side of the barn with the tractor and it didn't go all the way through the wall? It just gets stuck. So he almost kills Roy there. He does the high cross body onto Roy to knock him off. Tommy doesn't even get like a final blow to kill this Jason. It's all Reggie the Reckless. He is the hero of the movie. He is the final girl in this movie, and he has the best scream in the movie. He is, he's the person. You're just talking about a main character. You can't convince me otherwise that the main character of this movie is not Reggie the Reckless.
We spend all this time building Tommy up. He's nuts. He's insane. He has a bad temper. He can fight. He does the fireman's carry to Big early on at breakfast. He beats up Junior using karate out there at Ethel's house. And when it's showtime at the end, we do nothing.
Nothing.
And he shows absolutely nothing. I just don't understand I don't understand what these writers were going for with the Tommy Jarvis character. And I don't know. I don't know where they were going. I don't know where they wanted to go. I wish, I don't know. Maybe it's in all those 9-hour documentaries, but obviously they give us the tease at the end that he's still insane. He tries to kill Pam or whatever. He steals her truck. We know that because Tommy's got it in part 6. I don't know. You're right. I was going to be sour on Reggie, but you convinced me. He is a pivotal part of this movie and this franchise.
Yes, I love Reggie. So let's get on to my bad, Blake. And I'm going to go with Tommy Jarvis. We've talked about it ad nauseum already in this review, and I'm just going to piggyback a little bit on what you just said. Tommy needed the moment of killing this Jason. That is going to erase his demons, get rid of his visions. He needed that. He didn't. He got sliced across the chest. He's left there in a bloody mess, clutching his wounds with the blonde as Reggie the Reckless takes care of business. At the end, we're supposed to think he's crazy again, which really don't make a lot of sense. He should have been the killer in this movie. And I know by me saying that, it erases a large part of it erases my favorite Friday the 13th movie, which is part 6. But Tommy Jarvis should have been the killer in this movie. It's a whodunit. You wanted them to bring back a whodunit. This is a whodunit. Though we're supposed to think it's Jason, it should have been revealed at the end that Tommy is the person that's been killing everybody, and Reggie should have been the one to kill him, because they had that moment at the very beginning together when Tommy first got there, where they shared a moment, and he should have been the one to have killed Tommy Jarvis in this movie. Like I said, it would have erased my favorite movie. But the only way you bring Tommy Jarvis back and you give him this type of character with that less dialogue, or that less amount of dialogue, I guess I should say, is for him to be the killer at the end of it. It's the only way this movie could have saved itself without Jason being the killer, and it didn't happen. I don't understand, like you, what they were going for with this Tommy Jarvis character. If you're going to put the main character, or the character everybody remembers from part 4 in this movie, he needs to be better than what this guy did, or what the writers did. So Tommy Jarvis is one of the bads for this movie.
The homeless guy never getting to eat really bothers me, Ronnie.
Yeah, she didn't get to fill his stomach or at it.
Well, we don't know about that last one.
That was going to happen. That was definitely going to happen. I thought that was Ben Willis from I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I got proven wrong. There's just 2 people in the world that ugly. And he's out there perving on those kids in the woods. That's the reason you never in the woods. And they used to do it in the 80s all the time. There's always somebody watching. Most of the time, it's like the Night Stalker is going to come up and kill you. You know what he's doing out there? That's all I'm going to say.
No doubt.
What'd you think about that stew? Would you eat that stew?
Yeah, I'd ate it with some crackers.
Blake, I think this is my last bad. The kills. Kills aren't very good. They aren't very creative. A flare to the mouth.
Well, the problem is it's a human doing this at the end of the day, and I believe it if it's Jason. I don't believe it if it's Roy. Like him wrapping the strap around the guy and then using a stick, not like a metal pipe, but a stick to. I mean, that stick would have snapped.
Oh
It
yeah,
wouldn't
everybody
have
knows
crushed
every
his
stick
eyes.
in the woods is rotten.
Every stick in the woods is rotten.
A
That death
flare
was
to the mouth.
faker.
A flare to the mouth. All I can assume is both of these guys would do push-ups in a cucumber patch. So that mouth. So I mean, you know, if the guy just shuts his mouth, he don't get killed with a flare to the mouth. I mean,
Pete.
what's Roy going to do? Those two guys too, dressed like greasers, unreal. But so many channels have spent so much time on them. I'm just going to assume they're at it, and there's really no women out there. The stab to the gut on the homeless guy from Portland, that is probably the most realistic kill and best kill in this movie if we had to pick one, Blake. I mean, I don't know how he was able to nail Matt's head to the tree out there. That's kind of crazy. And we don't know what he did to Cookie when he threw him through the window. Another Friday the 13th movie where somebody gets propelled through the window. I mean, Roy's got a lot of strength right there. He probably got a good wind up and spinning out. That's what I want to see, Blake. I want behind the scenes footage of a back shot where you see the killer picking this body up and getting the momentum to throw him through the window. That would be hilarious.
Come here.
Edit. So yeah, not a lot of good kills in this movie. I think there was supposed to be. I know a lot of people talk about the MPAA had a lot to do with, you know, cutting some of these scenes down, but it still wasn't going to help the movie. You could have had somebody getting skull like in that Thanksgiving trailer, and it's not going to help this movie. I mean, bottom line, you keep looking off to the side. Who you got in the corner?
Noah's getting some out of the fridge.
What is the better dance scene? Crispin Glover from Part 4 or Robot Chick Violet in this one right here, because she's working it for a longer amount of time.
I like Violet. I like the song that she has playing in the headphones too. We get to hear it a good bit. I like everything about this chick. She deserved better.
She was fat. What about the guy that finally told Redhead that he wanted? She laughed at him.
I mean it. Jake got put in charge and immediately thought he could sexually assault everyone. And listen, Red Velvet Cake regretted her decision. She wanted Jake Blaster. And Jake gets killed. Off-screen kill. We get him looking up. Red Velvet Cake goes to get in the top bunk. Jake's not in that bed. I looked. I rewound it. I looked. He's not there. She gets in the bed. She rolls over, and all of a sudden, Jake's there.
He's grinning at her.
Smiling at her because she got her.
Edit. All right, Blake. Ugly. Here's my ugly. I'm going for this guy's been in a few movies. He was Lance's dad in Varsity Blues. He was Gordy Boggs' dad in Ready to Rumble, and he plays another cop character in this. He's the one that gets the kids out.
He's always asleep.
He's always asleep in this movie. He's the ugliest person in this movie. He's got a long face. His face is shaped like a foot, but just not as pretty. He's ugly. His voice sucks. He don't know how to act. And he was in the movie Ready to Rumble. Definitely the ugliest person in this movie.
My ugly Ronnie is going to be fat ass Joey from the beginning, and it's because he's fat. It's because he's ugly. He's got chocolate over his face. He's wearing clothes that don't fit. And when you find out in real life he is a piece of shit child molester, he raped everybody in that vampire movie that we like, Lost Boys, Ronnie. Yeah, he got Corey Haim. He got them all. He is an enormous. I wish Victor would really hit him in the back with an axe and cut off his arm and cut off his legs. And I think he's dead in real life. If he is, good. I hope he's in. I hope Hitler's putting a pineapple in.
Well, Victor can't kill him because he died of AIDS.
Well, he's in too. I hope Victor's still killing him in.
Get lost.
I hate it. But yeah, Joey's the ugliest human in this movie, in the movie and outside the movie.
All right, well, that'll do it. Hit us in the comments, guys. What is your good, bad, and the ugly for Friday the 13th Part 5? Tell us what you agree with, what you don't agree with. Would this movie have been better? Does this movie get a free pass if Jason Voorhees is revealed as the killer at the end of it? That's the only change you can make in the movie. When he falls off into the bed of nails that's there for some reason, it's Jason Voorhees' face. Would this movie have been better if Tommy Jarvis was the killer? Even though it would have hammered out part 6, we still could have got Tom Matthews as a different character in that movie, and it would have been just as awesome. So tell us what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you guys know how to do that. It's going to be a special guest, Blake, hopefully, for the Friday the 13th Part 6 review. So that should be fun. Thanks to everybody who supported all these Friday the 13th videos. We're getting massive amount of views for our channel anyway. We're really enjoying it. Comments will be locked for the foreseeable future. If you know, you know. So if you got to really talk to us, hit us up on Patreon. You can leave a message without having to donate anything. Hit us at atgnat.podcast@gmail.com. If you got to hit Blake up on the socials, hit me up on the socials.
Why are the comments locked?
Because
he hit me with the because.